Hey, happy hump day, everybody. Daily Mail UK, and this is a follow-up to my video on Tuesday. This is part 2 of the video. Of course, all of you have already seen part 1, that video I put out yesterday, talking more about Minneapolis today and getting into a little bit of New York City stuff here. So, Daily Mail, let's read some of the headlines. I'm not going to read the whole article. The headlines usually give us what we need to know. Minneapolis City Council unanimously votes to abolish its police department and replace it with a community-led public safety system, while NYC leaders push plan to cut $1 billion from the NYPD budget. I'll link all of these articles in the description, of course, if you want to read them in full. The Minneapolis City Council on Friday unanimously passed a resolution to replace the police department. The City Council will pursue a community-led public safety system as a replacement. Council members signing the resolution said reform of the police would not work and a full replacement of the current system was necessary. No amount of reforms will prevent lethal violence and abuse by some members of the police department against members of our community, it said. The move comes days after a veto-proof majority of the City Council voted to disband the police department. And remember from my video yesterday, I was talking about those same City Council members who voted to take away citizens of Minneapolis's police department are getting private security themselves. That's in excess of $4,000 per day and $63,000 over the past 3 weeks. Can you believe that? Hypocrisy, right? The decision follows weeks of protests over the death. Yeah. We know that's not really why people are protesting. And looting. I just wanted to touch on the New York aspect of it real quick because we're talking about big time money here. So it says here, the Minneapolis vote was cast as New York City Council pushed to cut $1 billion from the NYPD's budget. The gigantic cut to the Big Apple Police Department's $6 billion annual budget could see a reduction in the size of the force from 36,000 to 33,000, while removing functions like school safety and homeless outreach from the police. Now, some of that I'm on board with. Some of the arguments have been made about homeless outreach specifically and mental health, that whole side of it. The drug side of it, but police come out and they're put into positions where they're made to act as social workers, therapists, mental health professionals, substance abuse professionals, all of that stuff that really isn't within the purview of their job. So if we're talking about taking that functionality from them or that job from them and placing it with so-called professionals that are trained to do that stuff, then that's something I'm good with. But if you're talking about just cutting police just to cut police, then good luck with that. For as much of a pansy as their mayor is, though, I will credit him in a way that he didn't support, and this is as far as I know, and that was a few days ago, that he didn't support disbanding the entire police department, but called for different kinds of reforms, like it says there below the photos. And when he came out and he said that, all these people hissed at him, shouted him down, punked him in his own neighborhood. My guess is somebody's probably not going to be reelected, that some POC on the city council is going to say, hey, look at that white guy, look at Whitey, he didn't want to protect you. We voted to defund the police. So some member of that city council of color is going to look to take his job once he's up for re-election. But they shouted that fool down. I'll give him some credit for standing up and kind of realizing that totally disbanding, not a good idea, having some kind of long-range vision, but man, punked him. All right, so that's all I wanted to say about that. Like I said, it'll be archived if you want to read the full thing, but let's jump over to this one thing real quick that was more interesting to me, more Minneapolis-centric. All right, so this is a New York Times article, everyone. A Minneapolis neighborhood vowed to check its privilege. It's already being tested. All right, take care, everybody. Be safe.